Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Vanishing Gates. I'm your host Jay and my co-host
Jack.
And we're here to talk about all sorts of different unexplained phenomena. The parapsychology, true crime, cryptozoology, all sorts of that cool stuff. Bigfoot, Dogman, Poltergeist, the UFOs, conspiracy theories. And we really want to know what you guys think as well. So we're going to just give it a go here. And we're going to start, being that we're from Northern California, on a topic that's kind of close to home. Literally close to home.
A little close.
A little close. Bigfoot. Sasquatch.
The Yeti.
The Yeti. Mm-hmm. Now, those guys aren't as close as, say, Bigfoot and Sasquatch, because we live in Northern California.
Well, yes.
But still, it's along that same... what's going on with this bipedal ape? What's roaming the woods all over America and the world? Even the snow in some places. Because, the woods and the snow, they're similar, because you can get lost there really easily, I'm sure.
Yeah, out here we have so much land. These trees are huge, and it's not just redwoods. People come here to visit redwoods mostly just to see these huge giants that have been around for millions of years. But they need to realize there are other forests out there in this area. There's smaller trees, and they're densely packed. This is a very densely packed forest. There could be anything out there. There's foliage. I mean, it's when you think forest, people usually think oaks, and they're not densely packed. But when you come out here, you might as well think jungle, because when you get out into the bush, it is not well maintained, obviously.
Well, the most of Northern California, like where we live, is technically still a rainforest. You got the dinosaur thing up there in Oregon, not too far from here, about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Mystery.
Yeah, Trees of Mystery. You have all these little roadside attractions that are pretty cool. But if you look around, and say if you take the 299 towards Redding from here, because we're on the 101, and you go through Willow Creek and whatnot, and actually there's a fictional movie made about that. I think it was a found footage film. I didn't actually watch it, but it was about people that stumbled across,
People sure do love their found footage.
They love their found footage. It's not even a Blair Witch's fault. It's Cannibal Holocaust that started that entire thing, as far as I know. But there was no Bigfoot in Cannibal Holocaust or the Blair Witch Project.
That's a topic for a different day.
For sure. So anyway, to backtrack, if you go by these roadside attractions, you notice all these chainsaw carvings at a burl of, Bigfoot, Sasquatch. And if you listen to some of the guys locally, a lot of the tribes, they have stories of this creature that existed. And they hand them down in oral tradition.
Now, the question is, in Northern California, is it considered the skunk ape? Is that what?
No, skunk ape is, I think, Florida. It's the other side of the...
it's Bayou area, yeah.
I think so. And guys, if you're listening, we're just starting into this. We're really interested in this stuff, but our facts might not be the greatest. So give us your stories. Give us references and correct us when we're wrong. We appreciate that. And for that, you can email us at vanishinggates with 2 G's at gmail.com. And we will read every email, even if it takes forever. We might not respond to all of them, but we'll read them.
When we're mega famous, because that's what's going to happen, we're probably not going to be able to get to every email. In which case, for the fans that are now, in the future, if you want to get email in, you've been around for a while, you've heard the first episode, you really want to get read, you want to get your email read, you want to get it noticed in, we're going to think of a special word that you can put in the header that lets us know you've been around since the beginning. And that way, we can go ahead and answer your emails first. We'll look for that header. Of course, we know people will go back and watch our older episodes, but...
Watch?
Well, yes. People are going to be watching on YouTube. Hello.
Well, they're going to be watching a lot of noise, and also, that's a load of horseshit. Just send us really cool stories and information. Guys, we don't take this too seriously. We take it seriously, but not too seriously, because you got to have fun. Because no one goes and listens to this thing thinking, man, this is my end-all and be-all. This isn't a religion. This is entertainment, if you break it down pure and simple. For right now, we're going to introduce a new segment before we get into the Bigfoot hash, Cigar of the Week. So you might think, with our first ever podcast, we would choose a really nice cigar.
Or no cigar at all for a topic about cryptids and stuff like that.
Oh, no. We're going to do a Cigar of the Week every show.
Yeah. You guys can watch us steadily gain cancer. It's fine.
Absolutely. Now,
it's a myth anyway.
Here's the deal. Oh, God, don't do that. So, fact is, we had some nicer cigars because we recorded an earlier inaugural episode than this, which will be available to people who follow us dearly, and it's hilarious.
In the future.
It's actually really good. And in the future, Is that a segment we can do in the future? Anyway, so right now we're smoking a couple of nice torpedo cigars I got from my local cigar shop because I spent way too much money on cigars, and they offered me these because they were just going to throw them out. And actually, it's not a bad cigar.
Well, when you think about a $3 cigar, it's a pretty fine cigar, actually.
A $3 cigar is never a fine cigar unless it's a free $1 cigar.
Yes, a free cigar. However, for a $3 cigar, it's still a decent cigar. Still a decent smoke.
All right, so it's we cut them with a triangle cutter or diamond cutter, whatever you want to call it, and 2 matches on mine. It's a decent, nice smoke, a good puff of smoke when you take a drag off it. It's not too bitter, it's not too sweet, it's not too spicy. It's a nice even balance.
I don't like how it sets up my tongue. I think it sets a little rough, honestly. I mean, the thing is when you buy cigars, if you want a good quality cigar, you're going to have to pay the money for that good quality cigar.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think what happened is you overlit your cigar and you're getting tongue burn. Same thing can happen with a tobacco pipe or a cigarette. If you overlight your tobacco, you're going to have some tongue burn.
Well, luckily, we're getting all this through in one episode, so that way we don't have to debate this in the future.
Absolutely, because we could do an entire podcast just on cigars.
This is true. This is true. I could definitely interject here and there. I am not a cigar aficionado.
All right, so guys, if you have your cigar suggestions, and if there's some kind of tobacco you like, please email us your suggestions and what you think about them at
Vanishing Gates 2Gs gmail.com. Remember that.
Absolutely. And I'm Jay, and this is
Jack.
And here we are with the next segment. We're going to dive into this Bigfoot stuff a little bit more.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I pulled most of the stuff from the internet because, that's where everyone pulls everything from now because this is, 2017.
I read it on the internet. That's
absolutely.
That used to be a joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I'm much older than you. Now, I did pull a lot of this stuff from the BFRO website, the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, I think. Aren't those the guys that do Finding Bigfoot?
I'm not actually sure who does Finding Bigfoot.
Well, check it out on your tablet real quick, and let's verify this so we don't sound like.
Well, why don't you talk to them while I verify?
So I'm gonna go over some of these things while Jack verifies. According to the website, BFRO's website, there have been 433 sightings in California alone since 2016. What do you think the second most sighting state was? What state do you think is the second most sightings? Where do you think they occurred?
That's a good question. I don't know much about forests, but I would assume it's one with deep forests. Maybe somewhere near Maryland, perhaps?
I would think Oregon, but we'd both be wrong. It would be Florida, coming in at 309 sightings. I think Oregon is directly after that. Now, according to the BFRO website, it's estimated that there are between 2,000 and 6,000 individual Sasquatch or Bigfoot, the plural for Bigfoot is Bigfoot, by the way, apparently, in North America alone. That includes Canada and Alaska.
Wow. I don't know much about Bigfoot, but it's when you talk about things that have great history, it's interesting when people say, my theory about Bigfoot is this. When people say there's no such thing as Bigfoot, you are discounting literally millions of people who said they've seen it. And they say, well, there's no proof. Well, usually when you see a giant ape in the middle of nowhere, your first thought isn't, let's grab a camera. It's, holy crap, let's get out of here right now.
Well, that's the thing, too. A lot of this footage is kind of cool, and it's also kind of questionable. I think that leads into it. The main one is Patterson-Gimlin footage, which people really go to as their go-to move. What?
Looks like Animal Planet. I don't know if it's BFRO's involved, but according to the wiki, which I've looked up, it doesn't say who does it specifically.
Finding Bigfoot? Oh, okay, anyway. So we're looking at a show now, because
we've
watched a lot of shows, and we find this really interesting. So, now, I've been in the woods a lot here in Northern California. A lot. Like, I've been to the place where the Patterson-Gimlin footage was filmed in Bluff Creek. Actually, there's a local brewery who makes Bluff Creek Pale Ale, and their big thing is a Sasquatch on the front of it.
BFRO does in fact
do that. Okay, good. Now, a local guy here, I'm not going to go into that details about him because everyone knows who he is. He's from here, though, so that should tell you something about where we live. And he's on that show and part of that organization. He's a really nice guy.
He's almost as famous as the guy with the giant hair on
I'm
Ancient
not.
aliens.
It's aliens. I've heard that too about Bigfoot. We'll get into that to a later episode maybe. But right now we're just trying to touch base and go over some topics that we think would be interesting. And we really want you guys to interject and give us some information about what you think or your experience is. If you have better information than we do, please let us know, because we're still new to this and we would like to do this for a long time. This is a passion of ours. All these things that are unexplained and paranormal and phenomena.
One thing is we really love hearing your guys' tale. And we're about to get into Bigfoot here. We would love to hear your Bigfoot stories. But, while we love a great story with a good tale to it, just remember that we're not trying to prove or disprove a theory here. Simply, we're just trying to bring interesting and fun facts to everybody. But when you bring a story that may not have credence, like you're just making something off the top of your head, you're just oversaturating.
We've all hung out with drunk guys at bars, is what he's saying, that talk about Bigfoot here locally. There's a lot of local folk who have Bigfoot stories. Now, I have never had any kind of encounter with a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch. I have seen some weird things, for sure, we'll get into later, but I have hung out at the bars and worked at bars long enough where I've heard people tell me about their Bigfoot encounters. Now, there's one encounter I've heard about that I actually think is super plausible.
According to my wife, she's had one.
Really?
Yeah. She said it to me several times.
Well, retell the encounter.
I walked into the room and I had my shirt off.
That's disgusting. You are hairy like ape.
Yeah.
Hairy like bear.
That's why she believes in
Soviet
Bigfoot.
Russia.
I helped her believe in Bigfoot.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, on a real note, jackwagon. There was an ex-husband of one of my aunts. She had 5 husbands or whatever. One that she married 3 times, and this is the guy she married 3 times.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, and the whole thing is the guy was a big woods guy, and he'd be out in the woods a lot. Never believed in anything, ghosts or anything else. And he went out in the woods one night when they were camping and came back, just wouldn't talk, and he just straight up said, "I saw Bigfoot," which is a big deal because this guy always shot it down. So who knows?
One of the stories, actually, that I just looked up that I'm showing Jay right now is, it made me realize, is one story that's interesting is the story of Zana, which is a story of a Russian Bigfoot. It's a woman who lived in a village. They have people who factually, she even had a son. He was really tall. He was hairy too. And they believe she was a Bigfoot, that she was part of,
bred with a dude?
Yeah.
Was she like a hybrid Bigfoot, or was she just straight up Bigfoot?
I'm not quite sure the whole story of it. I don't know if there's pictures or
What
anything
sources are you looking at? You just Googled it and found Zana, or did you actually look at what the website was?
I've heard stories about it in the past. I've definitely heard. I just totally interrupted your story to interrupt the story.
No, the story was done. It was a quick quip, but now I'm interested because this is good.
I haven't heard, the thing is I don't know much about this particular thing. I just remembered it right now off the top of my head, and I Googled it. And
nice.
all I remember is that it was part of an Animal Planet. I can't remember if it was Animal Planet or it was just another one of these, ancient alien style
Some reality
things.
TV thing.
Yeah, and they were talking about her. She was from a Russian village, and she had a son, actually, I believe, with a villager. And, yeah, she was supposed to be a Bigfoot.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories. People think people who are really hairy. You'll get
it could be totally not awesome to you guys. You can let us know.
It could suck, but there's stories they say Russians they had experiment papers that Russians tried to get people to breed with apes, and they think that she's either part of that experiment or she might be from the wild.
That's almost like the Goatman story. One of the Goatman stories.
A lot of things come out of Russia. That's a lot of the story.
A lot of things come out of Russia and Nazi Germany, now we're going to get into conspiracies, which we'll get at a later episode.
We're backing up to Bigfoot. The one thing I will say on that portion is that it's interesting when you actually listen to Russia when they talk about cryptids and different things like that. They actually admit that they believe there are creatures out there and that the United States government is just trying to hide it.
Well, there was recent footage that came out on the internet of a Russian, they called it a Yeti, I think, in the video, but it was some guy driving on some far-stretched part of Russia, well, I guess, which Russia's a pretty big place. Eurasia is a huge area, and there was the guy driving, and he caught this thing on his dash cam, because, in Russia...
You have to have a camera.
Yeah, because the insurance is so shitty...
Yeah.
that people will just jump in front of your car, and unless you have dash cam footage of them actually, that's why a lot of those shitty videos of the funny videos of guys just jumping in front of cars comes from Russia, and because the insurance is so crappy. Well, these guys are driving, and you see this thing run across, and I've seen it a couple times. I didn't sit and break it down. I don't necessarily believe it was a Yeti or a Bigfoot.
I don't know
kind of cool though.
I don't know the actual video name, but there was a video of a police cruiser that had a tall, shadowy figure hairy one, run across the front of their dash, or the front of their car. And the thing is they were going about 45, it looked in the video. I'm not a quick judge of speed.
Okay, so hindsight's 2020. We need to start saving these videos and putting them on our Facebook page.
We will do our best to try. I will do my best for those on YouTube, and I don't know if I can put
Did we set up the Facebook page yet?
I believe the Facebook page is up. I'm not 100% sure.
Did you set it up, or did your wife set it up?
You know, I don't know if either of us
So
did
it's
yet.
not set up? Maybe you should set up the Facebook page.
Just potentially like other things like this, our Facebook page
By
is
the
also...
time you guys hear this, there will be a Facebook page for Vanishing Gates.
By the time you hear this, it will no longer be a myth in the cryptid world. There will be a Vanishing Gates Facebook page.
This is the kind of quality entertainment you should expect from Vanishing Gates. From Jay and Jack.
That's right. So the story, or what the video shows, is something running across. Well, they broke the video down slowly. Well, they were going about 45. This thing was tall, and the deputies released, or the sheriff's office, I can't remember which one, I think it was the sheriff's office, they released stating, oh, this was fake. It was just a bunch of teenagers. Because the officer got out and tried to find them, but they were gone. He came back, he flipped around and came back. Well, there was a female officer and a male officer, and the male officer gets out and goes to look in the brush, and he doesn't find anything. But they said that it was a bunch of 17-year-old kids probably just playing a prank or something like that. Well, here's the thing. That car was going 45. At the distance that thing was running, it had to have been doing at least 10. Sprinting. And I don't know a single 17-year-old less there Usain Bolt that can run about anywhere between... Well, I think it was actually... They estimated it had to be running about 10.1 or 15.
What's the average running speed of a human, though?
5.
5?
I believe I believe it's 5.
Can we verify that with Google before you just say that? Here, I'll do it on my phone. All right, you keep talking. I'll verify.
About what? So that was the story. That was a great story. Anyways, they broke it down in slow motion. It was there was police footage of a dash cam, and it was actually pretty interesting. I mean, the thing is while I'm not I'm generally a skeptic, but I love these stories. I love seeing
Dude, average running speed of a human is 28 miles per hour.
Holy shit! 17-year-old boys can run at 28 miles per hour. Maximum. Cheetahs are screwed.
Cheetahs, I think, run faster than that, buddy.
Cheetahs are screwed.
Are 17-year-old boys trying to brew with cheetahs now? Is that what you're trying to say? Maybe you should step that back just a little bit, bro. So, back to what we're talking about. Now, what do you think of the Patterson-Gimlin footage, man? Like, that's the main Bigfoot footage. That's the main film for Bigfoot. And I know scientists will pull it apart. I've seen tons of shows about it where they talk about you can't create an ape suit like that. And the guy, Bob Hieronymus, came out and said he was the guy in the suit. He walked and had the gait. And he couldn't walk that way. It doesn't work that way. We have a brother who is taller than... And we're not small guys. Like, I'm 6'3".
I'm 6'4", 6'5".
6'4" or 5 at least.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm smaller in weight, but I'm not saying you're fat. You're kind of fat. But
fat.
So our other brother, he is 6'7" or 8.
He's 6'7".
Yeah, and he can walk exactly like that. I watched the footage. I'm like, he walks like that anytime he mopes or drinks way too much, unless he's just tucking his chin into his chest and passing out. Now,
well, I assume that's what's happening while he's walking.
Usually,
that's why he looks like it's because he's passing out as he's walking. So he has that slump perfectly because
he's going to listen to this.
He's almost falling over.
He's going to have a shit fit when he hears this. It's going to be kind of funny. So now that said, there was that whole thing about was it this guy in a Bigfoot in an ape suit, a professional ape suit, and there was this guy that came out, Philip Morris or something like that, out of North Carolina. Let me double check that real quick. I have it here on my phone. And he actually advertised a suit that would have looked kind of like it, actually. Here's the old ad. Morris Magic Company. Sale gorilla suits, same as used in movies and TV. They were $750,000 or $750. Wow, that's a big change in the year. Now only $435. Bear suits look exactly like a real bear. Were $595, now only blah blah blah, etc.
Are we doing an advertisement for this guy?
No, because they're already out of. I think they're out of business.
70s.
I think they're out of. I think it's before the 70s, buddy. 67. Now I know that.
Adjusting for inflation, those are not cheap.
No, I know that Patterson has been accused of being a swindler, and I think Morris was one of the main guys that accused him of that. But I don't really know. I know he wrote a book before this happened, before he filmed this footage.
I'm definitely going to Google this, but I believe one of them, either the filmer or Patterson himself, came out. I can't remember who was filming it.
But I think Patterson was on his deathbed saying it was true. The whole thing was true.
No, I could have sworn one of them said flat that it was not true. That it was fake.
Well, guys, again, if you have better knowledge than us, You might have better resources because you can put on the internet and say whatever you want in your search engine, but you guys might have better sources. So again, email us at vanishinggates2gs@gmail.com. We appreciate it because really we're just flying by the seat of our pants here. We're just trying to have fun and talk about some interesting things, but we really do want information. Now, there are other names or similar Sasquatchy, Bigfooty kind of things like the skunk ape, the yare, and the yowie, the Mataborung, orang pendik, yeti, Barmanov or Barmanov. I'm not pronouncing any of these right, I'm sure, so correct me if I'm wrong. Now, there are other ideas like what it could have been. But really, the best part is the fact that it could exist. I think that's what we really need to get into, is the fact that we want it to be there or the possibility of it. Now, to avoid that topic any further, because that's a whole other episode.
Yeah, that's going into a total different rabbit hole.
Yeah, I do remember listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Bizarre States, and shout out to them.
Robot's hot.
Oh, Chobot's hot. Bowser's kind of hot too if you're into guys.
Like, he loves Arby's, so
guys.
we would get along really well.
God, he's good. I don't know. Bowser's pretty cool. But anyhow.
We're going to piggyback off of other people real fast.
We're not piggybacking. We're just giving a shout out to people we listen to. Now, there were a couple guys on there who were talking about, they're big Bigfoot fans, and they shut down the Patterson-Gimlin footage pretty good. I thought, well, one of them did. And it's worth a listen, even if it's not totally accurate. He had some. I'm not going to go into it. You guys need to check out Bizarre States and listen to their podcast and find out what we're talking about. I'm not going to go into it because I don't know these guys personally. I don't want to give out what they said. That's not right. Let them talk.
They're a good show. Go watch them. That's all we're saying here.
Listen to them or watch them. I'm not going to give any more shout outs than that because hashtag Junior Mints. Anyhow, so there are some other things like the Skookum cast. We've always DNA evidence that people thought they were getting, and the Skookum cast turned out, I think it was an elk or something. Turned out like elk stepped into this thing. They thought it was a Sasquatch.
I haven't heard that one yet.
Well, it's no time like the present to figure it out. So things like that, man. I mean, God, I really like the idea of Bigfoot to be real. I hope that there is a Bigfoot, because I would love to go out in the woods and just get video footage of one. It would be awesome. There have been guys that supposedly caught or killed and had bodies of Bigfoot, but always the body just seems to vanish.
Actually, there's a thought on that one. Not about the bodies, but a thought about killing or hunting Bigfoot. There's a big debate which people have mocked.
That's pretty recent, isn't it? There's like someone tried to pass some kind of bill to protect them or something.
They're protected in. I think China actually passed the bill.
The Yaren, no, because there was those diplomats from China that all happened to see it at one time or something, and now it's I don't know. There's sightings and stuff, but there's never been any recorded footage or sounds from them.
Yeah, never quote us on anything too particular. One of the things we want you to do is go study for yourself, too.
And I know correct us if we're wrong.
That sounds lazy, but you're here to listen to us be entertaining and make you laugh or make you have fun or make you get some insight into things.
We're not being lazy. We just don't want to be a ton of asshats here.
We're not going to just sit here quoting wiki articles.
We don't want to be a big bag of dicks.
We're also here to give you we're also here to give you an angle to look at in different ways, different aspects. Because remember, we're both skeptics, but we want these things to be real. I mean, I don't want things like Wendigos or any of those other things to be real because they might kill me one day somehow. Because I live near the fucking woods and I'm not looking to die.
Well,
that's all I'm saying. And I don't want Bigfoot to come out with aliens. I don't want Bigfoot to come out with aliens, take me up and impregnate me in a ship. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay, so I listened to a bunch of the recordings of Bigfoot. I think I listed them here, like the Sierra sounds. I listened to Sierra sounds. I said I've been in the woods a lot, and most of these Bigfoot sounds I hear, these recorded Sasquatch, they sound like either a pack of wolves or some jackass making the sounds because he's cooking meth in his lab. And, so you never know. It's questionable. You hear those whooping sounds and stuff. But in reality, we won't know, I guess, until we actually get them alive.
Speaking of whooping sounds, do you think there's a Bigfoot around here? Because apparently some dogs in this neighborhood like
just
to
a
go
bunch
off.
of annoying dogs. They're probably chasing down our local cryptid, the tweaker.
No, that's a really...
The Humboldt County tweaker.
I don't know if that's a cryptid so much as an infestation.
That's actually, I think a cryptid is a non-accepted by science creature, whereas tweakers are pretty obvious and real.
Oh, yes, they're very accepted by science. There's much to learn about the tweaker. We don't quite have a genus name for them just yet, so we just refer to them as tweakers. If you really wish to learn about them,
Genus? Are you sure you said that wrong? Is it genus or genus? Or?
Genus. I believe it's genus species
We're a bunch of
terminology.
dumbasses, which is fine because we're a bunch of dumbasses smoking cigars, talking to you guys about cool shit. It's pretty awesome. All right, guys, we're gonna take a break for a couple seconds. You're probably gonna hear some weird sounds if we generate any between now and fuck all. So,
yeah,
back in a minute. Hey guys, welcome back to Vanishing Gates. Again, I'm your host Jay with my co-host
Jack,
and we're talking about all sorts of cool stuff. The last last segment we talked about Sasquatch and other things and cigars.
Yes.
Now we kind of want to just, again, this is our first episode, so we kind of just go over things that are interesting. So let's talk about I don't know, Jack. What do you think? Cryptids, like.
Yeah, of course.
What's different than Sasquatch? Again, guys, we're not gonna. This isn't an information time. This is just us hashing out things that are interesting. And again, we always want your stories and information at
vanishinggates@gmail.com. That's Vanishing Gates with 2 G's.
Yes. And please email us. That'll be great because we will love to hear your stories. You can do anything. Stories about encounters of Bigfoot or dogmen or aliens or ghosts. Anything. Maybe you had a past life experience. Go to that. A good conspiracy theory. We'll hit there sometime too. Maybe you knew someone that was a murderer. We can do a true crime segments. That'd be great. We want to do all these things. But right now, we're just going to BS and hash over some stuff that's interesting to us. So, Jack, what do you think, man? What do you want to talk about now? What's something interesting that's on your mind here that we can talk about? Like,
I think Skinwalkers is a good story.
Skinwalkers?
Yeah.
Skinwalkers, that's what, a Navajo legend?
Yeah, I believe so.
Or is it a legend or is it real?
Well, I mean, when you put it like that.
I was trying to be all artistic there. But I think I actually have some notes on Skinwalkers because you've talked about it in extent, and I don't know a damned thing about it until I researched it online. I think the term Skinwalkers comes from the Navajo word Ye Naldushi, Y-E-E.
Just called them the douche.
Naaldoshii. We're not going to do that. That's rude. But the term Ye Naglushi or Naglushi means he who walks on all fours, according to Wikipedia. Heads up to Wikipedia. Good job, guys, if you have good information. If not, burn in hell.
Perhaps we need WikiLeaks for more information.
I'm not going to go there. So, tell me what you know about Skinwalkers, what you think about Skinwalkers.
Well,
what have you read? Because I don't know that much. I saw a movie about it, and I've heard some native legends about it, but I don't know much.
You know, the interesting thing is just like I imagine, like a lot of people, we know the stories, but we don't actually know the traditions or where they originally came from. What I do believe I know about with Skinwalkers, and like I said, this isn't 100% factual knowledge, it's what I've heard, what I've seen, but they're basically just shamans who were able to take the pelts of animals and take on the form of an animal. And I assume that at some point they got stuck in that form. And I know, I believe I read something about the Navajo legend, for instance, they could take the face of a person?
I don't know. What I read on Wikipedia was, because I looked it up because I didn't know anything about it after you mentioned it, is a harmful, again, sources Wikipedia, guys, take that with a grain of salt. If any of you guys have any idea what we're talking about, please email us. The Navajo Skinwalker, or Ye Nelgushi or Dushi, is a harmful witch with the ability to turn into an animal, usually for the purpose of harming people. Again, the source is Wikipedia, and fuck all, because I don't know if that's true. Anyway, Jack, so what do you think about it, man? Because you're the one that brought it up to me. Like, I hadn't really had any investment in this. I saw a movie about it or something, and I've heard about it here and there, but I don't know anything about it aside from what Wikipedia had to say about it.
You know, it's interesting. I don't know an extraordinarily large amount about them. I know stories, individual tales that I've heard, read, and listened to on different channels. But, you know, one thing I would actually like to hear from readers, if we get someone who knows Navajo legend, perhaps they could tell me something. I don't know if they eat people or just kill them.
Or has experienced a skinwalker, maybe. We sound like a bunch of uneducated fuckasses because we're a bunch of uneducated FAs. We'll say from now on. That sounds like a really good way to do this. In case we get syndicated, which will never happen because we are so unprofessional. But that's okay, because at least we look good in slacks.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, I look good in slacks. You look good in a muumuu.
That's not, no. Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, so okay, so I know about I've heard about Skinwalker Ranch. I don't think it's totally related. I know that it's a ranch, or it's a Skinwalker Ranch or the Sherman Ranch. I know it's a ranch. The Skinwalker Ranch or the Sherman Ranch. It's approximately 480 acres southeast of Ballard, Utah. I had to Google this.
Before we get into this,
what?
This is not a cat house, is it? I'm just making sure we're not about to teach people where a location for a place.
It's not the Bunny Ranch. They can find that easily. It's easily available. If you've seen HBO specials, I'm sure you can find the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. I don't want to be
promoting.
I'm not promoting the Moonlight Bunny Ranch, but if they want to kick down some free samples, I'm not going to complain. Anyhow, so I don't know, buddy. Free sponsorship. Who knows? You never know.
Might quite get a little mad.
Hashtag Junior Mints Bizarre States. So anyhow, Skinwalker Ranch. Also, the Sherman Ranch, approximately 480 acres of land southeast of Ballard, Utah, which I don't know anything about that because I've never been to Utah. Some of the sightings are UFOs, Bigfoot-like creatures, crop circles, orbs, and poltergeist activities, and supposedly the government gets really involved for some reason that I can't understand.
Well, it's probably because the government's just got nothing better to do with their time.
They don't?
Yeah, I think that they've literally just lost the plot, and now they're like, you know what? Bigfoot. Skinwalkers. This is where this... Maybe they got confused, and they keep showing up there thinking it's the Bunny Ranch, and so they're really just... They keep showing up there, they're sending the new guys there every time, and this just keeps happening.
Well, we did have a few Secret Service guys get busted a couple of years back for frequenting bordellos.
Maybe they thought it was a Bigfoot sighting.
Maybe they thought it was Bigfoot. Secret Service is now invested in money, Bigfoot, and presidential security. All right, so, guys, I know that I read from Wikipedia, because I don't really know, but apparently the Skinwalker Ranch borders the Ute, UTE reservation. It was also called the UFO Ranch at one point. Yeah, I don't have anything else after either that. So, guys, if you have any information on any of this crap,
we just told you a location. We don't know why we told about you.
Well, because it's interesting, guys. We want to hear some stuff because we want to learn. We want to grow with you.
Here's the thing: is when you've got a centralized location where things are happening over and over again. Generally, it's got to be seen to be believed, in my opinion, on that one.
And we live in the North Coast. And we talked about Bigfoot the last section of the program. So, yeah, I haven't seen Bigfoot.
You know, that's true. You know, well, we haven't seen Bigfoot, but there's a lot of forests out there. The thing is a lot of people do see these things. But let's face it, with Bigfoot in particular, that tale just keeps getting retold. And the thing is you've got to wonder who's just trying to get attention.
Okay, we'll go back to Bigfoot. So, here's the deal. And I'm not, per se, a Bigfoot believer, because I have no reason to believe in Bigfoot aside from it's really cool to believe in. Guys, please give me any evidence you have and stories. Again, you don't often find dead wildcats in the woods. Cougars, mountain lions, you see them alive, but you don't really see their corpses of natural death. Unless they've been captured or shot or whatever, you don't see a lot of bones from them. So who's to say this isn't a creature that's as intelligent or more intelligent than a freaking cougar? Well, mountain lion.
You know, that's true. You don't see, even with any of these, it doesn't even have to be just Bigfoot. You know, you don't see the meal of these things. Generally, they're pretty clean. I mean, they go, you know...
Well, scavengers. So there's tons of scavengers in Northern California, too, especially. Like, black bears are a big scavenger. You know, the whole thing about if you see a bear in the woods play dead, out here, it's a bad idea because they'll eat you. What you're supposed to do out here, same with cougars, is make yourself bigger. Grab sticks and make yourself look bigger so they run away from you and make loud noises so they go away. You know, so who knows? Maybe these guys are just more intelligent and smarter.
I don't know. That could be the case. I mean, if you think about it...
There's always that meme, world hide-and-seek champion forever. And it's always a picture of Sasquatch.
He's never lost a game.
I'm just serious, dude. Cash me outside. How about that? Just a Sasquatch picture. I know it's a big meme now. That's
Sasquatch?
Great. A Sasquatch, Bigfoot picture. So,
Sam Squanch.
Sam Squanch?
Yep,
is that
Sam
a thing?
Squanch.
I can't do that. So what about, like, other things that are crazy that we never thought we could find? Look at the coelacanth. There was no way the coelacanth could have existed because it was extinct millions of years ago, but they're catching them still alive. There's video of it alive now. They were catching them in markets, I think, Africa and somewhere like South Africa or something. And this guy is like, what the hell is this? And he sent to a friend of his, like, oh, it's a coelacanth. They're extinct. Because I'm eating one now, I don't know how it's extinct. Like, that's, that kind of thing.
Well, it's actually, there's a rodent that they found recently that was supposed to have been extinct, but they found, like...
The ROSs?
Several of them. No, it's just this rodent that was supposedly, like, extinct. It's been gone for I think it was thousands of years, 10,000 years, something like that. I can't remember the exact date.
And guys, we don't have sources because we're really unprepared for this.
And I have a problem with numbers, so you're going to hear me quote things that are just not correct.
And also, we're not very intelligent.
No, I'm pretty intelligent.
We're not.
I'm fat, and I don't look good in jeans, so I have to be something, right?
You can wear sequins on your jeans and look just as hot as the next dude. I've seen it happen. You just look like a girlfriend, not a boyfriend.
It's going off the rails.
That's the whole point. We are a shit show. It's great. We should call it the shit show of paranormal activity. But to bring it back a little bit, let's talk about, like, I brought up the coelacanth for a reason. Look at the giant squid. They were washing up on beaches, and until recently, there was no video footage of them.
Yeah, I mean,
we know they existed.
We literally know more about outer space than we know anything about what's
again.
beneath a
I don't
certain
know
level.
that that's accurate either. Because what do we really? We don't even know anything about ourselves. In Ireland, they just found a part of our intestines they thought was just extra matter from evolution. Turns out it's actually part of your body's functioning. So what do we really know? We don't know a damned thing, guys, and that's the point of this podcast. We don't know jack.
Well, one way that's going to be great, great joke there. One thing that that's really been hit on recently is
a lot of girls at the club.
Drones, and drone footage. The chance that they don't need to go out there physically a lot of the time. They could just use drones. And the drone can move faster through the woods. For instance, with anything, with Wendigos, skinwalkers, Bigfoot, they can move faster. So that way humans who can't keep up with these things normally, this thing can just cruise right over and catch footage for them.
Yeah, but cameras are only so quick, too. I think the human eye is actually faster than most cameras, isn't it?
Well, while that's true, if it starts tracking one, they can actually follow it. So that way they can get better footage as they're following. Because eventually it's going to stop running, right? I mean, that's what their assumption is. It's going to stop moving.
So we should equip drones with darts that neutralize them temporarily so we can actually capture them.
Well,
I think that's how we should do it. I mean, never mind, I'm not going to, that's too political. But,
We're not a political podcast.
Now, keep in mind, man, everyone has cameras on them all the time now. You'd think we'd see more of this, and all the footage is always blurry and kind of shitty.
It's like I said before. It's when you're in the situation, like when you're in one of those situations,
fight or flight, you get stressed out.
You're not anticipating this thing to show up all of a sudden. Then you're like, oh shit, and you're just gone. That's why most video that I see, I do, and I know it's not fair that I do say this, but I say, oh well, that's not real. And the reason I say that is because your fight or flight is going to kick in, and you are either going to run at this thing and be stupid, or get into a stance. You're not going to grab your phone,
not necessarily. Think about it,
or you're going to book it.
There was that video. I don't remember what the footage was called. Do you remember what it was called? The guy is like, he went back to find. He had found tracks earlier in the day or the week, and went back and started recording it. This is in the 90s.
Is that Jefferson or something?
Jefferson, maybe? The Jefferson footage or something? I don't know.
No, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, that. And he went back to go and try to find it. I guess he caught it on camera. And he sounds really calm, but also kind of panicked at the same time. He chases it down. Oh, sorry, guys. The Freeman footage from 1994 is what we're talking about, not the Jackson or Jefferson or whatever.
My apologies.
Other ridiculous stuff we were talking about. The Freeman footage.
I have been shamed for bringing up the wrong name and confusing the whole fucking situation.
But there's evidence out there, but not a body. I mean, there was guys that fake it and have fake Sasquatch bodies, and they always say, "Oh, well, we have it on display," and it's always like, "Oh, I was wrong. We don't have one." So I'm not against it, but
DNA testing. The thing is when you talk about the validity of something, it's very difficult to find proof at all times. And the thing is like I was saying with the fight or flight, is when you're in that situation, your response isn't going to be like, you can watch these shows like the fear shows and stuff like that. Like,
but this guy invested a ton of money into this, and he's not just going to go, well, hey, I'm scared now. He's going to try to chase it down and figure out, because he doesn't feel in danger.
Well, he was also openly looking for it.
Though. Yeah, well, he was, but at the same time, He didn't make any money off this, though. That's a big thing with hoaxes. Like, you always think that, like, Patterson, he made money.
Yeah, well,
I've heard that he made money. I don't have the guys. If you have the numbers, maybe I'm wrong, but let us know. But I was under the impression that he made money. Yeah, he got fame from
People
it.
still talk about
this guy though, he had dumped a ton of money apparently of his own investment into this, and just happened to be there. So I don't know, man. It's like, again, there's so much going on that we don't understand.
You know, that's true. We really do have a lot in this world we can't quite understand, and this world is old. And the thing is to say that something may not exist, but people have seen it.
Well, it's more not that they may not, but it's more like the absolutely does not exist. That's the thing I have a hard time dealing with. Like, you know, I don't know, man. Like,
life is tough dealing in absolutes. You can't absolutely definitively say something isn't. I mean, unless it's like very blatantly not real.
Well, isn't the thing about science is you can't disprove a negative or something? Or
yeah, you can't disprove.
Yeah, you can't disprove something completely, but you can prove things or something. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, guys. I'm just some guy that throws beer for a living and is having a podcast right now. So that's my job. I sling beer. I'm a beer slinger.
We've probably ran out of oxygen from the cigars we've been smoking. So now
this
is a segment where our brains.
This is where we're going to get really entertaining. You had to wait 40 plus minutes for it, but here it is, guys. The entertaining part of our podcast. So what do you think about I don't know, Loch Ness Monster, man? What do you think about Nessie?
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake, hands down, no question? Why? Why do you think it's fake?
Well, these aren't exactly deep ocean waters. These are controlled locations.
It's pretty deep, though. The loch is a big area. It's just really calm down. There's not a lot of food that we know.
I believe there's stories during World War II when they actually walled off the loch, so nothing getting out, and they dredged this stuff.
I never heard about that, so I don't know.
It may not have been the Nessie per se. The thing is,
so it could be a whole different place.
It was
completely different story altogether.
Yes, it could
totally nothing to do with Loch Ness, but it disproves.
The thing is I love history and I love stories, so I could just be crossing my history and my stories right now. But you know, the thing is to say that they've run sonar, they've done everything they can, but here's the thing: is they are right in one instance where it could be down deep, and there could be underwater caverns. And
the thing is, it's not impossible. Could be underwater caverns that lead to the ocean? It's not the story that could lead to the ocean or something? Well, I didn't say impossible. That's what makes this entertaining and cool and exciting and different and cool. And I said cool like twice. 4 times.
Twice? You got it twice there.
I times that by 2. But the whole thing is, this is what's cool about this idea of this podcast. And cool again, guys. I'm going to try not to say cool. We're not going to have a cool counter. We should have a fuck counter instead of a cool counter. But so anyhow, man, what about Champ?
Well, I've never even heard of Champ.
I've never heard of Champ.
The first time you mentioned it, I was like, are we talking about Rocky Marciano or Muhammad Ali? Because I have no idea who Champ is.
The Lake Champlain monster, Champ. Their version of it. Okay, bring it back a little bit to more things we can prove scientifically. We heard stories of sea serpents forever.
Hold on, you can't disprove Nessie. The thing is there's been people who proved that Nessie was fake.
You were just trying to disprove Nessie.
Well, I say I don't believe it, but at the same time, I can't necessarily disprove it. I believe it's fake. And there was a doctor who made the suit in his basement, according to what I was reading.
It was a tugboat with a little thing on it.
Well, okay.
He was a surgeon that made that little tugboat. The most famous Nessie picture. This was this little, I'm doing this arm thing you guys can't see, but it's really accurate.
It's very accurate. It's Nessie
super accurate.
It is. We're about to get calls because
I could Nessie this
we're about to
right
be
here,
famous.
It would be a very buff Nessie, though, because my forearms are really, really big from being 14 for so long. So, don't ask. If you don't know, don't ask. Now, again, though, we tried to say sea serpents when there's stories about sea serpents that sailors would tell. And then, look, they're finding these oarfish washing on the beach that are huge.
Well, I mean, wasn't it Jeremy Wade? Jeremy Rowe?
Oh, dude, the river monsters guy. That dude, he pulls out some creatures.
You know, it's you can't say like I said, you can't say that these things don't exist, and you can't say that they do.
No, but you can find a better example maybe of what they are, or I don't know, dude. Maybe they are real. Who knows? Some of them.
Well, like I said, there's so many people who see these things. You can't necessarily discount every single freaking person, But maybe those people saw something that wasn't what they thought it was.
Can we at least disclude every single person that's smoking crack while they saw something?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, so guys,
that's a given.
if your source is a crack addict and they scratch themselves a lot, probably disprove that one.
Yeah, you can just
that's
write
right that
out.
one off. Just erase that story, because where we live, there's a lot of that.
1, 2, 3. Don't go directly to 3. 4 is right out. Just remember that. So crackhead, right out. Just like 4.
Now, what about the zombies?
Zombie.
The zombies. The zombie attacks. I was listening to a show earlier where a cop was on talking about that him and his buddy got a call, him and his partner got a call. Some guy was jumping off an overpass in California a few years back, jumping off an overpass on the semi-trucks and rolling into the bushes and going back to the overpass and jumping down. And the cops found the dude. They were up on the overpass looking. They couldn't seem to be on the overpass. Shone their light down. Saw this dude in a bush, covered in blood. He started running towards them, so they started running to where the on-ramp was, or the off-ramp is, and he was running up it towards them, and they tackled the guy. He's covered in blood with no injury, though. Not his blood at all. This is a cop telling the story, and, he calls it in, and CHP shows up.
I can solve this right now. He landed on top of a shark.
A shark.
It exploded into a gush of blood, and hence why he was covered in blood.
No.
Maybe it was a mermaid.
No. This guy fought him, was trying to bite him the whole time, wouldn't talk to him, just kept trying to fight him and bite him. Trying to bite them is a big deal. And then they cuffed him and stuff, and they held him there, and their sergeant or whatever showed up, and CHP showed up, because these were local cops, and the CHP showed up, and this guy, it's a smaller area he's working in, and he knew all the CHP guys in the area, and these two guys showed up, and CHP doesn't usually show up in two. Like, it's not two guys per car with CHP usually. It's usually one guy. And I'm sure there's specific times where it could be more than one, but in this particular instance...
We digress.
Yeah, we digress a lot. We will frequently digress. But basically, CHP goes, oh yeah, we'll take care of it from here, because the guy's like, well, we handled it, and they're really rude to him, which is abnormal, because CHP is usually polite to this guy, I guess, because he's a regular cop in the area. And an ambulance shows up, and they just toss the guy in the ambulance. Not, the EMT doesn't come out and inspect, and they just toss him in, and it shuts, and they all drive off together. And so the guy is trying to do his paperwork at the end of the night, still has to do it because he's on the call, and, man, he talks to CHP. Well, we didn't send a car out. Talks to the ambulance. Well, there was no ambulance out there. The guy just vanishes.
Well, that's interesting.
Well, we got that guy that guy in Florida a few years back who ate that dude's face.
That was bad results.
No, they said it showed the tox results. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong and show me the evidence. But from what I've read and looked into, that was the original assumption. But there was no evidence of anything but a small amount of marijuana in the system. Small amount of marijuana in the system. All these zombie attacks. Guys, lock and load and get ready for the apocalypse.
I just don't think we're going to have a zombie apocalypse. I think the reason for that is because, here's the thing, the zombie apocalypse is going to start and then it's going to stop. Why? Because a bunch of people are going to realize there's a zombie apocalypse, and then there's going to be a bunch of people shooting heads immediately, and there's going to be a bunch of dead innocent people too, because people are going to be like, ooh, zombie, and then they're going to basically wipe out the horde before it ever gets spun.
Well, that could do that Georgia Guidestone thing and reduce the population a lot. Maybe that's conspiracy.
But the Georgia Guidestone says 500,000.
500,000.
500 million.
500,000.
It's in 500 million.
500,000.
I thought it was 500 million.
I think it's 500. I don't know. It could be. Either way, still, it would be a reduction of population. See, guys, we're going to do this where we scatter about, because especially in this episode, we're just kind of like touching the veil of what we're going to talk about.
I thought of a story and then I forgot it immediately.
Well, that's your own fault drinking water like a noob.
Yeah.
If you drink alcohol like a man, you'd be more able to bring your memory up.
You're doing well.
That's a great argument, right,
Keep
guys?
going.
Yeah.
I'm seeing if you're going to get it eventually on that one.
Well, eventually I'll get there, I'm sure. God, I really want fried chicken. So, anyhow, we have, locally we had a cannibal story, the zombie story. Yeah, the guy made a mushroom thing in a pot, and his girlfriend and him ate some dude's face. It's always the face. Is the face, I mean, like
the brains.
I've had hog head cheese, and it's really good. It's usually made from the muscles in the face, but human face cheese, I don't know that I'd buy into that.
Well, here's the thing. It's also not a cheese when you eat it.
Well, when you no,
there's a process that it goes
process
through.
it with the milk and congeal it and make the head cheese.
Maybe they had done that, and they were just
This could
reaping
be
the
our
fruits
first
of their labor.
So if you guys have a really good human head cheese recipe, please
Yes.
email it to us at vanishinggates2gs@gmail.com.
Yes, indeed.
That would be awesome. And we will probably read it on air if it's convincing. And we promise we won't report you to the authority. Of course, there are all those stories from, I think it was Haiti or Jamaica, where there's one in particular where the guy was drugged by a voodoo priestess, and he looked dead and seemed dead for all intents and purposes and was buried. And then she dug him up and pumped him full of some kind of chemical, and years later, people see him walking around without the ability to control himself anymore. But he's still alive. So, zombies could be, yes, hell, man, some asshole could just pump a bunch of drugs into the water system and just, really thin out the herd.
I don't think we're going to need to do that.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, we're trying to use all these different things. So it's not like Bat Boy from Weekly World News. That guy couldn't even stop a criminal.
Bat Boy is real.
Bat Boy's real?
He's real.
Hashtag Bat Boy's real, says Jack.
Yes. Bat Boy is more real than any of these cryptids.
They
had photos, for God's
real
sake.
Bat Boy.
They had photos, though.
Guys, we don't want to be an outsource for the Weekly World News. We want some cool stuff. What do you think about like a Spring-Heeled Jack? That's a cool topic.
Jack.
You know about that?
Wasn't it just a story of Jack the Ripper? And
No,
he
totally
evolved
different.
Into a,
No, similar, but a different story at a different time. Similar time, similar story, but a different thing. And he was actually reported in other places aside from just England. I read about it in old Penny Dreadfuls that I bought when I was younger.
Yeah, but
Actually, some of the earlier stories about Spring-Heeled Jack was different. Like the whole chestplate thing. Some people actually said he was like a bear.
a bear.
A bear with talons, like Wolverine, but much larger.
Okay, this just got interesting.
It's always interesting. Because it's this. That's why it's interesting. If you guys have more info, please email us. Again, I'm not going to say it. You guys have heard it like a bunch of times now. But so the whole point is, man, guys, we're just flying by the seat of our pants here again.
Yeah,
we're
the thing is, we're trying to push an hour, and
We're not trying to push an hour. We're trying to push hard drugs. Drugs of the mind. Drugs of the soul.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Reach deep into your mind and soul and tell us what you feel. Actually, I have an idea too for the show, guys. If you're interested, let me know. And if you're not interested, please let me know. Extra careful with the emails. I have a friend who's a professional magician, and it would be great to have him on. So let's do this. I'm a cashew. That'd be great.
We're now moving like
into
illusion.
We're floating into another universe, which is kind of how we do things around here, apparently. No, guys, but really, this is fun and this is great. And if you guys enjoy this, we need to know. If you don't, then fuck you. It's free. No one cares.
Well, I mean, no, you're right. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
No one really does.
I care a little bit.
I know.
I care a little bit.
I care about a little bit too.
I want to make enough money
Eh.
to buy more cigars for the Cigar of the Week program, and then
I think that'd be the primary thing here. Is basically we're just
we're just trying to fund our
We'll make
cigar
money off
habit.
this. Yeah.
Kidding. We're kidding, guys. We're kidding.
And our Skinwalker Ranch.
Expedition?
No. We're gonna call it Skinwalkers. It's our strip club. Remember?
Oh, yeah, if we open a strip club, it's going to be called Skinwalkers. Now, had you guys heard the episode we filmed before the recorded films? We didn't film anything. Recorded before this, you would have heard all about that. But hashtag Skinwalker Ranch Strip Club. So.
Well, we can't call it Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, just Skinwalkers?
Just
Strip Club?
Skinwalkers.
Are they going to come out dressed as furries?
I mean, they could. I mean, it depends. Like, let us know if you want our strippers at Skinwalkers to be dressed as furries. It's,
And eventually
down
strip
below.
the fur down?
Yeah.
Like they're being skinned alive? In a sexy, sexy fashion?
I don't know if they want them to be skinned alive. I don't
Not
know if
literally.
you make that sexy.
They're pulling off the furry outfit. It's not this. Why are you going to be so morbid, bro?
I don't know.
Jesus, Jack.
Why not?
Killing me. All right, so what about the Jersey Devil, man? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, so the story behind the Jersey Devil is Miss Leeds. She had so many kids, and finally she was just fed up with it. She says, let this last kid be the son of Satan. And it came out with like a horse head and hooves and wings and human hands and or small,
little feet.
tiny Like, I always pictured from the Penny Dreadfuls, it was kind of like a Tyrannosaurus Rex with wings and a horse head and hooves. Yeah, tiny hands, I can't make my bed, that kind of thing. So, you don't know that much about it, do you? So, guys, if you have any information about the Jersey Devil,
look,
you should write us.
Here's what the show has become at this point. It's literally just, hey, if you guys have any idea,
really,
to
guys,
aid us,
we
it's
will
not
come out
sucking.
with more stuff. Don't worry, we'll come up with more.
This show,
at the same time, I do want to get into something very important to all of us right now. This is important to every person everywhere right now. When the frick is Netflix going to release a second season of Stranger Things?
this is a good question.
We've been waiting forever.
You know, this is important. I agree.
We have questions. We need answers.
But,
Serious answers.
and Radio Shack can't help us.
Serious questions. No, for real. This is ridiculous. Guys, come on, Netflix.
Wow.
You guys can film an entire season and release it all at once, but you've made us wait for Stranger Things Season 2! That said, thanks, guys, for joining us on Vanishing Gates for our first podcast. I'm your host, Jay. This is my co-host,
Jack.
and thanks, guys. Again, email us at vanishinggates with 2 G's at gmail.com.
I think we said that like 4 times now.
We probably said it more than that. I've lost count.
I like how we got a little more professional at the end there.
A little more professional?
Yeah, well, okay.
Guys, don't push us too far. We'll get too professional, and then it won't be enjoyable, I'm sure. Anyhow, guys, we're almost at the hour mark, so we've wasted an hour of your life. I feel like you owe us something.
Yes. You owe us a like and a subscribe if you're on YouTube.
Yeah, just kidding. We appreciate your listening. We hope you listen again. And next time, maybe we'll talk about something coherent, but probably the same kind of shit show you've had today.
Yes, but at least it'll be fun.
Now, sleep tight. Don't let the vanishing gates bite.
What the fudge was that?
I don't know. Later. Peace.
See ya.